Oke, hello guys. Kita udah live. Welcome to sesi kali ini. Jadi hari ini topik kita dapat narasumber luar biasa dari Melbourne Australia. Kita akan tunggu teman-teman juga sambil menunggu yang lain supaya bisa live bareng juga. Sambil live bareng. Kalau ada yang udah join, shout it, say hello, and hopefully we can start it. Kita akan start on time. Ini gue juga coba supaya on time. Kita keep it simple hari ini. Supaya bisa lanjut. Begini harus. Nah, oke. Oke guys, kita akan mulai bentar lagi. Ini udah live sih sebenarnya. Sambil nunggu-nunggu yang lain aja. Silakan join, feel free to join. Kita ada live. Sambil nunggu yang lain, silakan join. Shout your name when you are online here. Sambil nunggu yang lain juga. Welcome to all magician, friends, spectators, anyone. Kita ada live ya guys. Oke. Oke, we are live. We are live. We are live. Sambil nunggu, gue juga lagi prepare juga. Gue sampai prepare file-file yang mungkin bisa berguna untuk teman-teman nantinya. Oke, here we go. Okay, we're good. Okay. Oops, 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 oops. Oke, tamunya nih juga udah online, guys. Mudah-mudahan banyak yang udah join. Let's see. Kita udah banyak juga yang join. Mudah-mudahan. Oh, where is it? Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, we are live now from my cozy couch. Hello, David. Welcome to the channel. Ini mudah-mudahan yang lain juga pada join. Oke, sambil nunggu yang lain, ada berapa banyak sih yang udah masuk? Let's see. Welcome, David. Welcome to the channel. Welcome, guys, to the channel. We are live now. Kebetulan tamu kita hari ini dari Melbourne, Australia. Kita akan bicara mengenai how to set up a show, how to set up a paid show every month. Because in Melbourne, my guest is the one who organized the show, the magic show. I'm gonna show you some picture of it later on. And then we're gonna invite him to this meeting right away. Hello, David. Welcome to the channel. Bisa lihat semua kan ya? Jelas? Baru satu ya? Only one? My guest is already ready, guys. Okay, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live on my lovely couch. And here we are. My host, me as a host, and then our guest speaker, our guest magician, is a guy named Bayden Hammond. He is from Melbourne, Australia. He is a professional magician, part-time, and also he used to organize a show, a magic show, paid magic show every month. And the show, I think it lasts about 8 years, 8 straight years. It's very incredible. I will share some picture with you, and then we're gonna talk about it very, very soon. We're gonna wait for some more people to join in. Just join, guys. And then hopefully we can start it right away. Hello, Jova Sago. Hello, Robi Quarantine. Kenapa sih yang disapa selalu Jo? Tuh kan, Robi selalu sapa Jo. Dimanapun, kapanpun, selama ada Jo, ada Robi. Wah, curiga. Oke, semakin banyak yang join, akan lebih bagus. Kita akan segera undang tamu kita. Tamu gua udah ready loh. Dia on time. Begitu gua nyalain Zoom, dia udah in waiting room. Very, 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 very time punctual. Memang orang Barat biasanya seperti itu, very strict with time. Jadi can expect less from him. He is very time punctual. Oke, sambil nunggu, mungkin gua akan share sedikit mengenai dia. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Not this one. Oke. Ini dia. Ini salah satu footage dia untuk acara acara di Melbourne-nya namanya Top Hat Tuesday. Jadi show setiap bulan setiap hari Selasa. Oke. Kita tonton videonya bersama dulu sambil menunggu yang lain ya. Ini adalah trailer dari Top Hat. Please enjoy. Oke guys, itu kurang lebih acaranya Job Has Tuesday. Sekarang gue mungkin sambil lihat dulu siapa aja yang udah bergabung dengan kita. Oh, halo Pato. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Terus ada siapa lagi ya? Gue akan share dulu. Gue akan share dulu sedikit. Hold on, let me. Hello everyone. Sekarang gue mungkin akan share salah satu penampilan dia salah satu penampilan Bayden di dalam, dia pernah punya show di Melbourne Magic Festival, which is festival magic dan komedi setiap tahun, rutin di Melbourne. Kita akan lihat sedikit sekilas bagian performance Bayden.
Magician's bet now. You know what a magician's bet is, Diego? Basically, we're a bet. I'm going to bet that this card is going to be exactly half of that card there. So if you stop with the 10 parts, I bet that's going to be the 5 parts. I'm really confident. Right, so baby card, let's do this. No, that was it. Just all right, cool, that's wrong, but that means we can get 3.5 bucks. And that's not going to happen, obviously, that's impossible. So, we need a little bit of magic words. Maybe, let's just try this. All right, now ladies and gentlemen, try things. That's close. All right. Tell me, you guys, do you guys like going to the movies? Yeah. Second question, stop putting the movies together. I bought a lot. Thanks, I love the movies. I want to do something about the movies tonight. So what I thought about this mix, hopefully, it's a sort of a general mix.
Oke guys, itu kurang lebih sedikit performance dia di Melbourne Magic Festival. Oke, mungkin udah pada nggak sabar pingin ketemu, ya kan? Kita akan undang Bayden sebentar lagi ke dalam sesi ini. Mudah-mudahan kalian semua udah siap. Kita akan mulai aja. Kita start dengan small people. It's okay. I'm gonna make sure few things first supaya nggak ada yang ketinggalan. Oke. Kita akan undang dulu si Bayden. Udah 5:15. Kita let's go. Kita undang aja Bayden Hammond. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you Mr. Bayden Hammond. Oh, can you hear me, Bayden? Oh, hold on. I think.
There we go. I can hear you now.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bayden Hammond.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you look so sharp.
Good to see you. Good to see you too. It's been so long.
Yeah, I know it's been so long. When was the last time? It was Boston, right?
I think we were saying Boston, which was 12 years ago, so more than a decade.
Yeah. I just realized that. I miss every chance to go back to Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh well, it's not itself at the moment, as you can imagine.
I know.
Arts culture has disappeared for now. So
okay.
It's a very different city, but hopefully we'll get out the other side of it.
I know. I heard a lot of story about Melbourne right now. It's a change, a lot of changing over there. A lot of change, and I'd love to say.
Very strange. Very different place. You can't go outside. The cops will question you. How are we going? You're only allowed to go to the supermarket.
Yeah,
pharmacy,
right.
Essentials only. So,
yeah.
It's a bit of a police state at the moment.
Yeah, I know. So, what have you been up to lately inside this pandemic?
Oh, well, I've got my day job, so I'm still doing that, but I'm working from home. So I have a corporate day job. So luckily I can work from home pretty easily on my computer.
Okay.
So still doing that.
Okay.
Magic has gone very quiet.
Yep.
There are no gigs happening anywhere in Melbourne at the moment. So
Yes.
I'm lucky because I don't rely on it for an income. It's always sort of been a
Okay.
bit of a passion for me, but not an income.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of my magician friends who do it full time,
Yeah.
that's a hard time for them. So I think a lot of them are spending the time just using the creative time to come up with new ideas, new show ideas.
Yep.
Stop
Yep.
and reflect.
Yes.
Give the website a facelift, or
Oh, yeah.
bring out a podcast. A lot of them are using their time to just come up with creative new ideas, I guess, to
Yeah.
work with the
Yeah.
times.
That's exactly the same right here,
Yeah,
because in this time people can stop and reflect, just like you said, and then we try to think what we gonna do next the next step.
exactly. Come out the other side bigger and better and stronger.
Yes, I know. That's why I invite you here today to share with us your success story with the Top Hat Tuesday, because
Yeah.
magician here is struggling to try to make a paid show, because last time I think we used to have Magic Tuesday, right, at first.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Magic Tuesday, and then it changed to Top Hat Tuesday, which you
Correct. Yeah.
organized, right?
Well, that's where we met, Andre. So this was going back, it'd be 12
Yeah,
plus years ago,
yeah,
15 years ago.
15 years ago. Yeah, I know.
Magic Mondays at Dante's.
Oh yeah, Magic Monday. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
name. Yeah,
that's the one
that's
you're
the name.
talking
And
about, yeah.
I
So,
got
I know,
confused. I got confused with a lot of magic shows.
you're forgiven because that was so long ago. But that
Yeah,
was, it's amazing how far Magic in Melbourne has come, because that at the
yeah,
time, Magic Mondays, that was the first ever of its kind in Melbourne, a monthly magic show.
yeah.
And now if we look at Melbourne, there's 4 or 5 recurring magic shows in Melbourne every month.
Oh
So
really? Is it 4 or
it's
5 shows already?
completely blossomed. Yeah. So
Oh,
the,
that's great.
the magic community here has really thrived since that time, which is fantastic. And I think the model that Magic Monday set, and then Top Hat Tuesdays after it, which was the show we ran, which
Yeah,
I'll be telling you all about tonight.
yeah. Okay, okay. We're gonna talk about it and then slice
Yeah,
and dice it, right? Because
exactly. Well,
it's gonna be such inspiration for magician here to hear the story and then and know exactly how to do it.
how we did it. Well, you come to the right place. I wrote 3 pages
That's
of
so.
advice.
Oh,
because we learned so much.
before we talk about that, I'm gonna
Yeah, sure.
invite my friend. This
Mhm.
is my collaboration fan. Probably you know him from YouTube. His name is Damian Aditya.
Oh, of course I
He,
do. Yeah,
yeah, he is the semi-finalist of AGT, which is also your partner went to last year. I think Dom went to AGT as
Yes,
well,
he
right?
did indeed. Yeah, he had a great time. Yeah.
And then later on, I think he said, you know, the Sacred Rihanna from AGT,
Oh, yes, yeah. Here
and
as
then
well.
the consultant of Rihanna will join us as well.
Wow. Oh, we'll have quite the
Yeah, you have quite a
quite the
guess.
meeting
You
going
have
on,
quite a hearing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, without
Fantastic.
further ado, we're gonna invite Damien with us so we can talk about the show. It's gonna be fun.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
Here we go. Let me introduce you to
Damien.
Damien.
Hello.
Damien, this is Bayden, my friend from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey, hello, Bayden. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. I love your work.
Yeah, although virtually.
Yeah, after a short chit chat. So actually, after Bayden show, bro, after Bayden show, right now Melbourne has like 4 or 5 regular show everywhere around Melbourne.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it's very big step for Melbourne.
Yeah.
Start with
Wow,
small.
nice.
We used to have like name Magic Monday on Dante, right, Bayden?
Yes.
Magic Monday on like in a bar, and then Top Hat Tuesday come
Yeah.
next, and then after that is 4 or 5 shows around Melbourne.
Now
every
it's,
month.
now it's blossomed. Yeah, I think Magic Mondays and Top Hat Tuesdays, they almost set a precedent.
Yes.
They set a model to say this works. I want to see this. And once we took that gamble and showed that it can work, all these other shows have popped up now, like and not just parlor type magic shows, but we even have like monthly close-up magic shows as well.
Okay.
That's fantastic. There's just a great variety now. So
Okay,
and I'll share all that journey with you guys.
yeah, let's talk about it. So how did you start at first for Top Hat Tuesday?
Well, how
Magic
did we
Show?
start? So, well, obviously, Andre, you and I attended
Yeah.
Magic Monday, as we were
Yeah.
saying, all those years ago. And
Yeah.
that was a monthly parlor-style magic show, as you'll remember.
Yes.
It was at Dante's, which was a very cool, hip restaurant. And they
Yes.
had like a little theater out the back. Small
Yes.
theater. It sat about 30 or 40 people. And people could come have dinner and drinks. And then at 8 o'clock, they'd get up from the table and they'd walk into the theater and they'd get to watch a variety magic show. And that show was usually about 90 minutes, and it would have an MC or a host.
Yes.
And then each month they would have a different rotation of magicians, 3 or 4 magicians doing 15 minutes each.
Okay.
And that went on for, a couple of years at least, maybe 3 years. But then the organizers sort of split up and pursued other things. And so that show came to an end. And then quite sadly as well, Dante's, the very funky restaurant, closed down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it was really sad because they were a really funky location.
Yeah.
So that then created a bit of a hole. There was a gap where there was no magic shows in Melbourne. And like you, Andre, I was a huge fan of Magic Mondays.
Yes.
As a young budding magician, I used to love going along and just watching other magicians perform. And I thought to myself, this is a hole we need to fill. We need to get magic back to Melbourne. And nobody seemed to be, I guess, taking the baton, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And maybe you do it, or they'll do it. I'm too busy. And so there's just nothing going on. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do this because I'm naturally a very organized sort of project manager person. I said, okay, I can do this. I'm going to organize it. I'm by no means the greatest magician, not even the best in Melbourne, but I am very organized. And when I want to get something done, I'll get it done. So I thought to myself, I've just got to get the right people together and then we can make this work.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. So I found a couple of magicians who I knew would be interested in doing this with me. Obviously, Dom, who you know, was one of them.
Yeah.
And then with a very small team. So it was myself, Dom, and my wife, and another girl called Tay. Just the four of us.
Teresa, I know
Remember
her.
Tay, Melbourne's biggest
remember
magic
Tay.
fan.
Yes.
So that's another important thing to note. They weren't all magicians. My wife's not a magician. Tay's not a magician. But they both love magic and they both know what they want out of a magic show. You don't need to be a magician to put on or to produce a good magic show. You just got to have a love for magic. And so the four of us came together, and that's when Top Hat Tuesdays was born.
Yep. Okay.
And so really what I made some notes on
that's very cool.
I wanted to take you guys through, I guess, the journey of how we set it up and how we made it successful.
That will be lovely.
So I'll jump straight in. I've sort of broken it up into 3 sections. What I called the planning phase. This was really the discovery phase where you go from not having a show to having a show. And there's quite a lot of work that goes into that. Then there's the lead up to the show. So you booked a show in, but there's a lot you need to do before the show and indeed in between every show. And then the third piece is obviously what do you do on the night? How do you run a good variety magic show on the night when you're in the heat of the moment? So that's kind of the 3 areas I'll cover, but I'll start with the most important one, which is where you guys would be at, which is planning. Now, how do you go about planning to do something like this? I think the very, very first step is think of it like starting a new business. You have to have almost a business plan or a charter. And the first step in that is that what is my objective? What is my mission statement? What is my success criteria? What is success going to look like to us? You have to sit down and define those things, because if you don't have anything to measure yourself against at the end of the day. You need to decide what are the goalposts that I'm aiming for here? What do I really want to achieve? So the first thing we sat down and we did as an organization group, we sat down and we tried to answer those questions. Guys, what's our objective here? We're not here to make money, right?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't our objective. That's nice if we can get some money eventually.
Yeah.
But no, our objective right now is we want to highlight to the Melbourne community that magic is a really exciting form of entertainment and that you can enjoy it. So we sat down, we defined our mission statement, and then we defined our success criteria as well. What would success look like to us? And that was things like, you know, we want to break even. We don't want to lose money running this show. So we want to get to a point where at least breaking even. You know, we want to fill the house up. We want to have magicians filling the bill every month, right? So we want support from magicians.
Yes.
We would define all of these things that we would consider success. The other really important part to do up front is to define who is our audience. Really understand straight up front who is our audience, because that is going to completely define your marketing strategy.
Yeah, I know. Because
I have a lot to say on marketing later. It's a really big piece of it. But the first step is understanding who your audience is. Because I'm assuming you don't want to put on a magic club where it's just magicians coming and watching other magicians, right?
Yeah, I know. We want regular people to go into the show, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the point.
So that's it. And so I'll talk more about that later, but it's really important to do an exercise in customer segmentation and understand the different types of customers you want to target. The next thing you need to do in your planning phase is really understand, well, what's the structure of your show going to be? How frequently are you going to run it? And we found monthly is perfect. In Melbourne, all the shows that run at the moment, they're all monthly. Monthly seems to be the sweet spot. Weekly or fortnightly is too much. And I think anything longer than a month, it's not really, it doesn't feel like a regular show at that point. So monthly seems to be the sweet spot. You then got to think about the timing of the show as well. And that's another really important one. How long is the show going to go for? We found for our variety cabaret magic show, 2 hours was really like perfect. Again, the sweet spot.
Around 2 hours.
2 hour show with an intermission in the middle. I find that anything shorter than that for a live show, that's fine. But
not entertaining enough for you?
Sorry?
Not entertaining enough for you?
Well, it can be entertaining, but it goes very quickly. I think 2 hours gives you a bit of time to have an intermission so people can go back to the bar, have a mingle. So it's not just 2 hours of show, but it's more of an experience as well. Because at the halftime mark, you know, we have close-up magicians at the bar, that kind of thing. So you create an atmosphere, and 2 hours gives you a good window to do that. And then you've got to sort of decide, you know, how are you going to structure the actual show in terms of the number of acts and how you're going to pace the show. And again, for a cabaret style magic show, we found having a host, so an MC, and 4 other acts. So there'd be five magicians in total. And what would happen is we'd have 2 acts on either side of that intermission. So you have the MC comes out, he warms up the crowd, he says, welcome, you know, Top Hat Tuesdays, welcome back, tell a few jokes. It's kind of like the monologue on a late night TV show, you know.
I know.
And then they would bring out the first magician and then the second magician. And then after that, we have a break and then 2 more magicians after the break. And we would usually save the 2 sort of stronger performers for the second half. So sort of the, call it the headline acts, if you will.
So how long was the break?
How long? We kind of mixed it up. It's usually about 15 minutes. We want to give people time, like I said, to have a drink, come back to the table, etc. So that we found that worked well, and each magician would do about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And I'll have a lot more to say later on how you manage magicians as well in a show like this, because that ends up being a challenge as well. So you need to have performer etiquette and rules established. So I'll come back to that as well. But just in this planning phase, the other thing you need to decide too, and it comes back to that point around audience, is it going to be a family-friendly show or not? I think that's important to decide up front, because that will also depend on how you define your performer etiquette.
Okay.
So can they swear? Can they tell a rude joke? Because you get some comedy magicians who can be a bit crass, and that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
You just got to make sure you set that tone up front.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've sort of defined all that, you then got to set some selection criteria for a venue, because your venue obviously has to meet your requirements. So if you just said you want a family-friendly show, well, that's going to potentially rule out some,
bar,
licensed
pub,
location potentially,
Yeah.
And they also have to provide a good space as well. So you want a place that's going to have a good stage, proper lighting, that it's going to be suitable for magic acts. So if the stage has mirrors behind it, that's probably not that
good.
It's like a free lecture then.
I say that because our very first venue actually had some mirrors. We had to put a big curtain over them.
Oh, okay.
The audience wouldn't get over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think setting that selection criteria for a venue is really important. But I guess the key here is that all of that gets wrapped up into a charter document. And within that charter document, you also have to be really clear on roles and responsibilities. So it's about bringing together a team of people to put on the show. I said before, we had 4 of us.
Yes.
And we had very clear roles and responsibilities. So your job is to do this, your job is to do that. And we stuck to it. And I found that was really helpful as well. You've got to treat putting a magic show on like managing a project.
Yeah.
And good project management, everybody's got clear accountabilities. I know what my job is. So to give you an example, we would have one person who was responsible each show for organizing the performers.
Okay.
So it's like if Dom was going to host the next show, you would need to line up 4 acts that he wants to put on that night. We would have a directory of all the performers that we can roll.
So the host is try to decide which magician going to perform that night. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. We would try to organize it as much in advance as possible. So if I knew I was hosting, Dom's hosting April and he's organized April, I know I'm hosting May, I'm already organizing the acts for May as well.
So
we're trying to organize ahead of time.
So whoever hosting the night gonna arrange the whole package for that night, right?
Correct, exactly.
Yeah.
But we would also have a list of all the previous shows, so we keep the variety. So we're not bringing back the same magician every month.
Yeah, I know.
We tried to rotate it. And we're lucky in Melbourne. Indonesia is probably the same. We have a big pool of magicians, so we could generally rotate the acts.
I will gonna show people here later on some posters that I saved from Facebook, and then we're gonna share it here.
Exactly.
Some of the posters. Yeah,
this is one of them. You can see it was Top Hat Tuesdays, and then we would have a variety of magicians on. You can see Dom's on there that month, and that would become our poster that we put up on social media, etc. So people could always see in advance, oh, who's performing next month? It's so and so, and oh, they're my favorite. I'm going to go to this show or whatever. So so we'd have one person organizing the acts. We'd have one person organizing marketing and website management. And then another person who was just responsible for business admin and treasury. Responsible for like the ticketing, making sure the money comes into the bank account, that it's paid out to the relevant people, etc. So that was kind of like the roles we had in between the shows. And then on the night, you have to have very specific roles as well. So what we'd find is that the MC would also be the performer manager. So as the performers rock up, you take them backstage, liaise with them, deal with them. So they're effectively managing the performers. And then we'd have one person up on sound and lighting. So you've got to have a sound and lighting person. Somebody who's going to control the lights, control the music. Obviously, a lot of magic has music cues when they perform to music. So you've got to have somebody, a tech person, who's going to look after that. You've also then obviously got to have front of house. So somebody who's going to greet the patrons as they arrive. Take their tickets, sell their tickets, take them to their seats. Somebody that the customers can liaise with. That's effectively front of house. And then we generally found that it was good to have a photographer as well. Especially early on. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer, but
just someone who can take good picture, right?
Good pictures, that was so critical.
It's for documentation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it will be so useful for the social media.
I will share some with you, bro, later on, because I saved some of the picture and then some of the posters from Top Hat Tuesday website. So I'm gonna share it later on.
All right, perfect, awesome.
Yeah.
So we relied on those photos to just sell the show, and we used them in advertising just so that people could get a bit of a feel for the atmosphere and the style of entertainment. So anyway, that's all roles and responsibilities. So it's really important to have all that defined up front, because again, the clearer you are with that up front, the less confusion there's going to be as you set the show up. Everybody knows what they have to do. It's like, somebody looking after the website, I thought you were doing that. It's like, well, no, you've got a role.
Oh yeah.
And we're not duplicating effort.
Yeah.
The other thing you need to decide up front is how much you're going to charge for a ticket. It sounds simple. It's actually a really interesting question, ticket pricing, because there's two extremes. You don't want to be too cheap and you don't want to be too expensive. And I think they're just as bad as one another. When we first started, our tickets were too cheap. I think we were charging 10 Australian dollars.
Okay, 10 Australian dollars.
And that's because we were a little bit unsure. We're like, oh, people won't come. But it's like if you go into the bottle shop.
Oh yeah.
And you see a bottle of wine for $20. Or $10. There's a certain point where you go, that wine is too cheap and it's probably crap. And we didn't want to signal to people that this is a cheap amateur show. So you want to kind of steer clear of being too cheap. So at the same time, you don't want to go too expensive. So,
how much was the Top Hat Tuesday the last time?
Yeah, so in the end we were selling for. Well, we had different seating levels. We had cabaret tables that were like right in front of the stage.
Okay.
Some of those for $70 for a group of 4.
Oh, so 70 for a group of 4. Okay.
Yeah, so that was still under. If you had 4 people at the table, it was still like under $20 each.
Yes. Yeah.
But individual tickets could be bought for $20.
Okay.
And I think the general rule of thumb we were trying to get to was about the price of an adult movie ticket plus about 20%.
Oh, okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's live entertainment, and you don't want to charge less than a movie ticket. Is kind of my view on that. I don't know how much the movies are in Indonesia, but here they're $20+. So we were kind of like, we definitely don't want to go cheaper than a movie ticket. That was.
Let me explain first to Damien. $10 is about like one meal in Australia, average meal in Australia. $10.
Okay.
So $20 it should be two times meal, right, Bayden? More or less, right?
Yeah, a very cheap restaurant.
Yeah, very cheap. And the movie ticket was like also like $20, right?
Yeah.
So you would just like add like 20% from $20 just to get the price right.
Yeah, and pretty much. That was the rule of thumb we applied. You can really do whatever you want. There's a great show running now in Melbourne, one of the 5. It's called Slate Night. It's like a close-up magic show. It's very funky. That's once a month.
Yeah.
And that's only a 30-seat theatre, and he's selling those for $25. And pretty much filling out every month. So I think, we don't need to be too prescriptive here, but I think it's worth putting a bit of thought into your ticket price.
Yeah.
And just knowing that you can be flexible as well. You don't have to get it right straight away, but it is important because you don't want to set a precedent.
I know.
You then have to change. So people will say, "Oh, it was $10 now it's $20. What's going on?"
Yeah.
It's worthwhile trying to get it right early on. And then having a very clear plan as to how you're going to split that money as well. So at the end of a show, you're going to have a pool of money. You've got to understand how you're going to split that, and you need to be transparent with the magicians as to how that money is going to be split as well. Obviously, you'll have a venue that needs to be paid. And you're also going to have expenses. If you're maintaining a website, you're making posters, you're advertising. We've got expenses as well.
Expenses.
But the magicians also want to be reimbursed for their time.
Okay.
So what we would generally do is once we took out the venue costs, we would divide whatever was left by 6. So that's
by 6,
5 payments for the magicians, and then one payment left over for Top Hat Tuesdays to go towards marketing, etc.
Oh, okay.
So that's generally how we did it. And then if we had a really strong night where we fill out the house, 80 plus people, we generally put a cap on what we paid the performers so that we could get a bigger cut. That way we could do some more exciting marketing campaigns.
Oh, okay. And sorry, I cut you in the middle. How many the capacity of the Top Hat Tuesday venue was it?
Sorry,
how many seat for Top Hat Tuesday venue?
Well, we had the tables. Yeah, full house would be 80 people.
Oh, 80 people. Oh, that's quite big.
Quite big, yeah.
Yeah.
But what was great is we could flex the seating arrangements.
Oh, okay.
So that, if we put tables out instead of rows, reduce the capacity down to about 40. So that if we only sold 40 tickets, we could still make it feel full.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
I think that's important as well, because you don't want people to feel like they're in an empty theater.
Yeah, I know.
That tends to kill the atmosphere a little bit. As much as possible, you want it to feel full and vibrant. So having a seating layout that you can flex to your number of patrons is helpful.
Yeah. Cool.
So just having a plan for how you're going to split the money as well. So budgeting a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's important. What we found is that a lot of magicians are happy just to come and support this show because we exist not for profit, but for furtherment of the magician community, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. So a lot of magicians were happy to take a very small amount of money. I mean, typically they were getting about $70 on average, 70 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's equivalent to, but that's effectively how much they were getting for their 15 minutes. So it's not much.
Okay. Yeah. But it's quite good. Still quite good, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's better than nothing. And our philosophy to the magicians was, we're not here to profit. We're not profiting off you, making you perform and then running away with our bag of money. We're here to promote the magic community. And I think magicians appreciate that as well, because they then have somewhere to come and practice their new acts and try new material.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Yeah.
So it's like a place to be bad.
Exactly. We didn't want them to be bad. We wanted.
I mean, for the first time, they will try maybe their material. Like they have new materials, and they have to test it with real audience. But because when it comes to you just like creating the material and then never show it to audience, or like you never tested how audience reaction for your act. But so maybe it's not the real meaning of place to be bad, but it's sort of like that. So we came to a place and we try our material, but the material itself is already perfect. But we want to know the reaction of the audience.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a place for trial and error is another way to put it. Absolutely. And often that's why magicians would contact us and say, "Oh, can I get a slot next month? Because I'm working on a new routine." Or, I've got a show at the comedy festival in April. Can I come and try my stuff? So a lot of it was performers, like you say, Damien, wanting to come and test their material in front of an audience so that they could polish it and refine it before doing their own show or their own festival. So where are we up to? I think the last part about planning too then is just coming up with a brand. So all the stuff we talked about, knowing your audience and having an objective. Once you've got all of that, you can then create a brand for yourselves. And I think that's about, coming up with a really nice logo. Sounds silly, but it's important. Something that people can just see and go, "Oh, that's like we had." Ours was super simple. We literally just had this top hat with the wand. Yeah. And we called it Top Hat Tuesdays. But that then became, it became a brand. People say Top Hat Tuesdays and they immediately know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I think coming up with a brand, and I think that's, you can do that yourself if you're snazzy designer. But there's also a lot of freelance workers online, like freelancer.com.
Oh, yeah.
Sites where you can actually engage a designer to put something together for you at a very relatively cheap cost. So I think coming up with the logo is really important, and then coming up with some collateral. So we created some business cards and some flyers.
Okay.
The business cards we thought were really handy because people can just slip them in their wallet or put them on their fridge.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's important to make a few promotional videos.
Oh yeah.
You can make some viral videos, stuff that you can just put out there on the internet.
Yeah, before we start, I played some of one of the promotional video when you perform with Dom, when you show the cards.
Oh yes, the flyers. Is that
the flyers?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I showed it.
Very silly little one. Yeah. We tried all sorts of things. It was hilarious. I think it was just about trying to get the name out there. So I think if you come up with a really good brand and a good visual brand, that's going to give you something to push out into the world, to tell people, I've got an exciting product to sell you. So I think that's really important because at the end of the day, you're enticing people to come out of their homes to come to a show. So if you can show a really strong air of professionalism, that's going to be the difference between someone taking a gamble and coming to your show and not coming to your show. So I think if you've got a really nice website, I think that really helps as well. We had a very basic one, but it worked. It was just simple and straightforward.
I will share it to everyone here later on after the talk, and then I will share it here as well.
Yeah,
you can share a screen here. You can share the website.
Or maybe you just can can wrote it on the chat so they can see it.
Okay, let me share a bit first. So bear with me.
I wrote down all of it here.
So this is your website, obviously.
That's
Bayden,
my personal one.
Yeah, your personal one. So
this is down to.
I have this one.
So
this is your performance.
That's an old, that's actually at the Melbourne Magic Festival. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me open it for everyone here. This is the one.
So that's a photo there from our final show because we wrapped up last year after 7 years. So that was the photo of we had a massive show at the end.
Yeah.
But, from the picture, I think it's not really big. I mean the stage, right?
No, the stage was I think parlor magic. So it was probably like 3 meters deep, maybe 4 meters deep and 6 meters wide or something. Like it was a small stage.
Yeah. Just small stage.
Perfect for parlor. Like it was, we weren't doing stage illusions, obviously. So it was just perfect for the sort of the intimate, I guess, type of show we were trying to do. But you see down there on the if you scroll down on the basic things you need is somewhere people can read about your show, somewhere where they can buy tickets, somewhere they can contact, a bit of a page for media. We just had photos, but if you're a bit more savvy, you can put videos on there. And then we even had this little section on hire a magician. So all the magicians that performed, we would create a little a link to their personal web pages. And that was great because people come to the show and they go, oh, I really like that magician. I want him at my birthday party. They could come here and quickly find them on the list and hire them directly. So we would do a bit of a service for magicians as well.
And it's also like a both side advantages, right?
Sorry, Damien?
2 ways. It's like a 2 ways advantage for everyone, like for the top hat and also the magician, because when magician think that, okay, I want to perform in top hat, top hat Tuesday, top hat Tuesday, and then they also can have like
showcase,
quote to quote, like a showcase and also a free promotion from your website.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So by the time that someone want to try to get, because someone when you got to the restaurant and you was like, I don't know his name, but I know that he's doing blah 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 blah, and then maybe he can search your website and then say, it's the guy, it's the name, it's the contact, and then he can get it, like reach out personally.
Exactly. Yep. We absolutely, that was part of our mission statement, was that we want to do a service to magicians to help the magic community. So not only do you have somewhere to perform and try your material, but you also get a bit of free promotion out of it. That's our way of, thanking the magicians. And And certainly people would come up after the show and talk to a magician they liked and said, oh, I really liked, you have a business card, and they'd give them their business card. So it was a bit of self-promotion for them as well, for sure.
Yeah, this is, I show everyone's here some example of the poster you make. This is one of them. And then
absolutely, yeah. So you see, that was one of our birthday shows, actually.
Yeah, this is the next one, one of the example. And then this is you performing inside the. This is Top Hat or Melbourne Magic Festival, Bayden?
That is the close-up gallery at the Magic Festival.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's a close-up show.
I didn't reconnect you with the band.
Yeah. with the comb over.
Okay, this is another posters that Top Hat Tuesday have. This is you as well.
that is Top Hat Tuesdays. That's doing the 21st century.
Okay, and this one as well.
Oh, that's just a gig. That's not. Yeah, that's just at a at a gala.
And this is one of the poster from Melbourne Magic Festival.
That's a Magic Festival show. The one you showed me before, where I was at the table with the cards, that's the close-up gallery.
Yes, but most of the magicians here already performing in the Top Hat Tuesday, right?
All of them, absolutely. Yeah. Yep, exactly.
And this one as well. And I know Glenn doing like a kid magic show.
Yeah, Glenn was fantastic. He helped us start because Glenn was one of the minds behind Magic Mondays.
Yes, I know.
Glenn helped us to set Top Hat Tuesdays up and shared all the wisdom from Magic Mondays. So
yeah,
just as I'm sharing the wisdom now from Top Hat Tuesdays with you.
Yeah. And then also I know Kamal. Kamal also I think he helped one. Yeah, another one helping helping you, I guess, because he is the one behind Magic Monday as well.
He was.
And then this is one of the former. I think he's
that's part. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a street magician and he's very, very funny. Very funny guy to watch. As much as possible, we actually liked to get at least one comedy magician at a show because we found it really helped to warm the crowd. When you have a very good comedy magician, it loosens the crowd up. They have a laugh. Their spirits are lifted. There's nothing wrong with serious magic. But I find when you're trying to warm a crowd up, comedy magicians were fantastic. They really helped to create that atmosphere and just get people on side, you know.
Yeah, this is one of the posters. And here's you again with Dom.
Dom and Dummer. That was our comedy magic collaboration.
Yeah.
Festivals together.
Okay, this is I think from the early days, this one. The posters, yeah.
Say again, Andre. Sorry.
Is it from the early show, right? 2015.
Oh, the first one, yeah. That was our first one.
Okay, and then here again. This is the venue, right?
This is a good photo. It sort of shows you the venue we were at. So you see that there was a bar. And behind this photo, there's lots of seating and like a bar area. And then you pull that red curtain aside you see there, and there would just be this like seating and a stage. So it was basically like a cabaret theater in the second half of this venue. So it was just a really funky venue. Had a real sort of cabaret. It's a cabaret theater basically. So they normally have cabaret shows and drag and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And we found that was perfect for magic because you've got like the red velvet curtains, you've got the cabaret tables with the red felt linen. It just created the perfect atmosphere for a magic show. So finding that perfect venue is not easy. I think we looked at maybe 20 plus venues.
Oh, okay.
So it's not easy, but we were very particular. So the point I made before, you've got to have selection criteria. So you go, does this tick all of our boxes? And if we're going to have to compromise on our venue, are we happy to make this compromise? So I think it's worth really hunting for the right venue, because when you find the right one, it's just a great feeling and it makes all the difference.
I think this is almost all the performers been to Top Hat Tuesday, right?
Yeah, that's the cover photo from our Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just literally a bit of a a collage of all the different performers.
Yeah.
We actually had more than that. That's just as many as I could fit on the on the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I could be one on the picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people wanted to know why they weren't on there actually.
No, I mean maybe one day I could be in the picture.
You should invite Damien. Should be
Invite me.
conjurer guy. Love him. I want more. Something like that.
Kath is lovely. She was one of our regular performers.
Oh, okay.
We're very lucky in Melbourne. We have just a lot of performers. This was another one of our Dumb and Dumber shows.
Yeah.
I loved that poster. We had an artist. I was talking about Freelancer before. We found an artist, a Canadian artist on Freelancer. She designed all of our posters. Fantastic. That's some more Dumb and Dumber performances.
Yeah.
They look ridiculous because they were very theatrical comedy magic shows. So,
yeah.
Some of these.
You again.
I'm a master at silly faces.
Yeah, I know. This is very cool. This is very cool one. So yeah, that's basically.
So the posters. Yeah, the posters look like that every month, basically. So each month we release the poster to show people this is who you can expect this month. And it was different every month. So every month was different. And I think something we learned, another one of our lessons was, this was actually towards the end. We've been running it for about 5 years. And we said, oh, how can we keep this fresh? Because it's like, all those posters you were saying, it's every month, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, here's your 5 performers, come along. It's like, oh, how can we keep this fresh and entice our regulars to keep coming along? And we decided the best way to do that was with theme nights. So setting certain theme nights. So we might have in October, we said, this is going to be a Halloween show, guys. And so it was all about horror magic, and then, the MC would dress up like a vampire. Or we might do a Christmas special where we would, for one night only, we would make it family friendly. So our show was not family friendly. We made that decision. We said we want to be able people to come have a drink. It's a licensed venue. We want magicians to be able to be a bit crass or whatever. It's an adult show. We want to market this to adults. But once a year we would do a Christmas special and generally keep that kid friendly and allow kids to come along as well. So you could play with a few different themes as well. You might have a comedy magic night where you just have comedy magicians on, or a mentalism night where you just have mentalists. So I think playing with theme nights is another way to keep these kind of shows fresh. Particularly after they've been running for a really long time. Yeah.
It lasts like eight years, I think. Is it 8 years? The Top Hat Tuesday?
Yeah, just over 7. And then
over 7,
Yeah, and then we wrapped it up. And we only wrapped it up just because we were all so busy with our day lives. Obviously, Dom became really busy. He was in America on Penn and Teller, and America's Got Talent. So we all just got a bit busy. And by that point, I said there's a lot of magic shows in Melbourne now. So we felt like we'd done our part. We've really done a lot for the magic community. There's a lot of shows out there now that have applied the same model that we did. So we felt like we were in a position where we could wrap it up. But we do miss it. It was the longest running magic show in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
And realistically, if we hadn't been so busy, we probably could have kept running it. But I just think creatively, we felt like we wanted to move on to, after 7 years, we felt like we wanted to move on to other things as well.
Yeah. That's very, very inspirational story. Inspirational story.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was a lot of fun. And I think, what else can I tell you? I think the other area of advice I can probably share with you guys is just to speak a little bit more about the marketing side of things and what to do in between shows.
Okay.
That was probably another key area I wanted to talk about. So I'll start with marketing first. I think I said before about identifying your customer.
Yes.
I think it's really important to do a customer segmentation exercise to say these are the types of customers we're going to target, and then have a strategy to target that customer. So, for example, we said we wanted to target tourists, travelers.
Yeah.
If you're visiting Melbourne, hey, come along, see a cool magic show that maybe you can't see in your own home city.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we definitely want to target tourists as one of our segments. So what's our strategy to target them? and we came up with a specific strategy, and that was like listing on, visit victoria.com, what's on Melbourne, all those typical touristy websites. We put our advertising on, and we put official event listings on them.
Yes.
I think another really great way to market, depending on your segments, would be cross promotion. So if there are other events where you can go and hand out flyers, that's really helpful. So for us, when we did our comedy festival show, we would hand out flyers to Top Hat Tuesdays. Say if you enjoyed our comedy magic show, guess what? You can see a similar show every month in Melbourne. Here you go. Come and see it. So if there are other events on in your home city that you can cross promote, I think it's a great opportunity to do that. It doesn't have to be magic shows. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Find your theatre district, find your theatre scene, find the comedy scene where the stand-up comedy clubs, flyer at those events, because you're finding people who like to go out and see live entertainment. And that's what you're selling. You're selling live entertainment.
Live entertainment, yes.
Magic is one part of it, but what you're selling is a night out. So finding people who enjoy a night out by cross-promoting these other live events is a really effective form of marketing. And the other one is just on Facebook. You can do targeted advertising on Facebook.
Yes.
That's the beauty of Facebook. I can tell Facebook exactly who I want to market to. So if people like live entertainment, if they like comedy, if they like magic, if they like theatre, I want you to show them my ad. So for anybody who's played with advertising on Facebook, you'll know that already. But that's a fantastic way to reach your targeted audience as well. And then obviously the other big one is actually word of mouth. So, once people start coming to your show, they'll start to talk about the show with others. And we encourage people to do that too. We'd say, oh, tell your friends about the show, bring them along. And we found that we'd start to get regulars coming every month, and they'd bring different people each month. So word of mouth was a really key one. And another thing we would do to help on the marketing side of things is we would never allow there to be an empty seat. I said this before, right?
Yeah.
Is not only would we flex the amount of seats we had. So this comes back to your venue. If you've got a venue with a fixed amount of seats, that could be challenging, because if you've got 50 seats, you have to fill them every month. And if you don't, people are going to look behind.
Looks like empty, right? It's not good for the show.
But if you've got like a bar where the seats are like fold-away seats, you bring them out and you can set them up, set some tables. If you've got a venue where you can play with the setup, that's really helpful.
Okay.
But the point that I wanted to make here about not having empty seats, it's not just about having flexible arrangement or layout. It's also about making sure where you haven't sold tickets that you still fill those seats. And there's a few strategies you can employ to do that.
Okay.
The one that we loved that worked really, really well for us. And again, I'm not sure, it depends what you have available in Indonesia.
Yeah.
But in Australia, we have a number of websites that are dedicated to producers wanting to give away free tickets. You'll be able to check these on the internet yourself. We have one called promotix.com.au. We have one called onthehouse.com.au. All websites which have membership groups, so people pay to be a member, and then they get cheap and discounted tickets to shows. What we would do is we would list our shows on these websites. And we are giving them away for free. So basically the website wouldn't charge us any money. They would charge a fee to their members to get those tickets, but we don't get any money. For us, it's just about getting bums on seats. So I thought that was another really important marketing strategy, is giving away promotional tickets and not being afraid to give away promotional tickets. It doesn't matter if someone didn't pay anything. The important thing is you've got people in there, and that they're going to go away and talk about the show and say, I saw this really great show the other night. It was a magic show. It's on every month. And then slowly you get the trickle of people talking about the show. So early on, we had a ratio of at least 50 or 60% free tickets, and maybe 40% of people had paid for them. And over time, that ratio slowly shifted. And at the end, we weren't giving away any free tickets, because we were filling it up. So that's a long journey. And even when you get there, you still have quiet months. Always being able to fall back on the promotional tickets was really helpful.
Okay.
But it all comes back to just not having empty seats. Nothing kills a magic show quicker than empty seats, because it kills the atmosphere, and it kills the warmth, and even for the performer. I mean, it's really hard for a magician to warm a crowd if there's only 10 people there, and it's like, I'm not feeling this crowd, and the energy's not there. So trying to get that full audience is really important. The other thing I want to talk about quickly was ticketing and how we did ticketing. We spoke about the ticketing prices. But in terms of going about ticketing, we used a ticketing hub. So we used Ticket Booth. This is like there's a lot of websites out there that just provide ticketing services. So we engaged one of them, and they work on the basis that they just charge you a percentage of each ticket. So you don't pay any setup fee, you don't pay any fee. The ticketing service was free to use. They just take a small cut of each ticket. And what that meant is that we didn't have to worry about setting up like a payment portal and like credit card security, etc. Managed by a third party. So just finding a good ticketing platform is really important. And then the other reason that's important, is because we really tried to encourage selling our tickets in advance. We didn't want to be in a position where people are buying tickets at the door, because one, we have no idea how many people are going to show up if we do that. Like on the night, if you've sold no tickets and you just, we just do door sales, you might have one person show up, you might have 50, no idea. So as much as possible, we tried to encourage selling tickets in advance. So that before the show, we have a really good gauge. Okay, we've sold 30 tickets. We need to get another 10 people in here at least. So that helped us manage audience members by selling in advance as much as possible and giving people an incentive to buy in advance. So if you bought online, the ticket was like 20% cheaper than if you bought it at the door. If you rock up on the night, the ticket will cost you $25, or you could have just bought it online for $20. So that was encouraging people to buy in advance. And that really helped us to manage, as I say, the numbers. The other thing I wanted to touch on, guys, was, because I spoke about it before, and this was performer etiquette. So I think it's really important when you're putting on a show with multiple magicians is to establish a set of rules. One of them is the timing for the act. How long is the act going to be? And you have to be really strict on that. Magicians, at least a lot of the magicians we work with, have a tendency to go over time, all right? Get into the rhythm of what they're doing. One more. All right, we'll do one more, because they're enjoying the crowd. And that's fine. They just want to keep going. But that would just draw out the show. And what I've found is that customers, patrons can get impatient, right? If someone tells you this movie's an hour, you sit down and watch it, and it's 3 hours, you kind of look and this is not what I want. You get an expectation, so you want to stick to that timing as much as possible. The other thing too is we would have a performer thread before the show, where the performers can talk to each other and tell each other what they're going to do. And bounce ideas off each other, because the last thing we want is duplication. A magician comes out, does the linking rings, and then the next magician comes out and does the linking ring. One is enough, So we would create a forum before the show where the magicians could say, hey guys, I want to do this, this, and this. Someone can say, I was going to do a prediction effect. It's a bit similar, so I might change it. So what we could do is just curate the acts a little bit. So it wasn't just 5 random acts. There had been an element of curation and tailoring to make sure the acts, there was a good variety. They were different, and that they worked off each other. So for example, we wouldn't want to have 2 mentalists back to back. We might try to balance the show. Have one mentalist, one combination, one illusionist. Try to, as much as possible, bring variety. The other thing you need to be really strict on with performers is what time they need to arrive, because you need to do sound checks and tech tests.
Yes.
No
yes.
good for a magician to rock up, 5 minutes into the show and scurry through the crowd and hide backstage.
Yeah.
So we would put a calling time in and get all the magicians to come.
Like half an hour
Generally,
before.
at least half an hour, at least.
Yeah,
We'd
at
actually
least.
ask them to come 45 minutes to an hour beforehand.
Oh,
just
okay.
so that they could familiarize, if they hadn't been before, familiarize themselves with the venue, get their music checked, get the mic checked, and then go wait backstage. And music is the other really important one to raise here. I said before, a lot of magicians have music to accompany their acts.
Yes.
So we would tell all magicians, if you have music, you need to send it to us in advance. So whoever's on the tech booth can put it into the system, like the proper music management system. And then you need to come along or send your written cues. So it needs to be written down, like when I say this, play track 1. When I say this, play track 2.
Okay.
They have to come with all that written down because, we've been cases where a magician rocks up and they're, I've got my music on this CD. It's like, can't play CDs yet. You've got no music now. So it was really strict about, if you've got music, you send it to us in this format. We will put it on our system. And you provide us your written cues so that we know how to play the music. So that's really important as well, just because so many magicians use tailored music. And also, it's probably a little one here, but public liability is really important.
Okay.
Well. So having that conversation with your venue and with your magicians as well, just because sometimes things can go wrong. Luckily for us, it didn't. But you want to be confident that if something does go wrong, you've got the appropriate public liability insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And also talk to your venue as well about what's restricted. Some venues say no fire, no live animals.
Oh, yeah.
Magicians do all sorts of crazy things. So you need to make sure you've had that discussion with your venue. And make sure that you've got the relevant public liability insurance. So I think that covers the between the show stuff. I think the last thing I wanted to cover was just on the night. So some other tips I have to share about running the actual night itself. Good equipment is first tip here. Having proper microphones is really important. So a venue that you use is likely not going to have the type of mics that a magician uses.
Yes.
But you'll also get magicians wanting to use their own microphones that they're comfortable with. So we'll have magicians rocking up saying, oh, this is my microphone. Can you hook all this up? Again, it comes to performer etiquette. It's like, no. We invested in a good microphone. And that became the one that we used on the night because we only had to set up one microphone.
Okay.
We had 2 headsets rotating. And that's all we used.
Okay.
So we said to performers, you can't bring your own microphone because we're not going to try and screw around and set up a microphone. But if we're going to say that to magicians, you've got to provide a good mic. It's no good just providing them a microphone on a stand. That's, most magicians can't deal with that because they, in their hands, they're moving around, etc. So good equipment and good microphones. It's so important. And any magician who's done a show will know that as well. Other things we had were just things like a little money box for the door, to the door. Like a little cash register tin. So that you're not like taking people's cash and putting it in your pocket. Like it just looks a bit weird. So if you've got a nice professional
box, like a small box, right? Small thin box like that, right?
Exactly. Just to give it an air of professionalism. So the most important things about on the night is sticking to your structure, sticking to your time, and sticking to those roles and responsibilities. So you're not all running around madly. You've got the one person looking after performers, one looking after sound, one on the door. If everybody sticks to their roles, the night goes really smoothly. And then afterwards, particularly if you've just tried your first show or your second show, listen and take feedback. So if you can create a survey to send to the people who came to the show, really, really valuable. And also the performers to understand what worked well, what didn't work well. Early on, that was really important to us to find out what did people think, what could we do better. And we got feedback we would never have known was an issue otherwise. People said, my seat, I had an obscured view, and then we went, oh, actually, yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's not put seats over here anymore.
Okay.
Or people might say, oh, you know, when the barman was making coffee during the show, it was really noisy and I couldn't hear. And so we said to the venue, not operate the coffee machine only at interval. So little things like that, and you would never pick them up unless you ask people. So I think when you set up a show like this, have avenues to collect feedback, and just always aim for continuous improvement. And the best way to do that is feedback. So,
okay.
And then I think I've spoken about that, blah, blah, blah. I'm just looking at my notes.
I
also made some notes here.
Yeah, he's the one making the notes. I'm making here in my computer. I have a lot
of questions also for you.
I should have just scanned you these, and you've got my notes.
Yeah.
No, I mean because probably like I just take like some the main point of your notes. So probably I more or less already understand, but then again I have some question. But first I want to, because Andre told me that you only have like 1 hour to do this live, right?
That's okay. Yeah, no, I've got more time.
Yeah. Okay.
So probably from the viewers first that I want to ask. This is some very good question. From Dr. Muton, he's one of the underground magician that very interested in this conversation, because me and him, we already have some like plan to work this thing for Indonesian magician and for Indonesia community. So his question is, first he asked about have you ever used free ticket, and then I told him it's already been said, but I will say it again in Bahasa after this. And then the second, how do you find loyal audience or repeat audience who come to your show more than once? What's the strategy? Because then again, when we talk about magic shows, people already know what's going to happen at the end, right?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Is there any strategy about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a lot of recurring customers, people who would come month after month. And in a way, that happens organically. If you put on a good show, and the show is going to be different every month, people who like it will keep coming back. That kind of stems organically if you've done everything else right. There are some strategies you can employ to help do repeat customers. I'll share some of the tactics we used. One was we would send out promotions to our customers. So in other words, when somebody buys a ticket to our show, they would have to input their email address on the ticketing system. So we would have the email addresses. So what we would then do is we would send emails to those people. You have to make sure you're complying with spam laws, particularly in Australia. So they have to be able to unsubscribe if they don't want you contacting them. But what we would at least is reach out to them and say, look, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to come again next month, 50% off just for you. And they would be tailored emails to that person, like, oh, hi, Sarah, we noticed you came to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Here's a coupon to get 50% off. Or, you know what, bring a friend for free next month. That was a really important tactic, right? Because we want people to come back and bring more people. So we would often do promotions where people could bring people for free or for reduced price.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing for repeat customers is we would run a lot of sort of like competitions and giveaways at the actual show. Okay. So as the MC, I would often do some magic that would involve giveaways, and the giveaways would often be free tickets. So it's like, hey, you know, when someone comes up on stage and helps with the magic trick, we'd say, hey, thanks for helping out, and here's a free double pass for next month. You know, so we were giving out tickets as well. So those were just a couple of little tactics we employed to try to get people coming back. And that was fed into our overall marketing campaign.
Okay.
Another thing you can do, and again, I don't know what's available in Indonesia, but over here we have some, we have a website called meetup.com. Is that something you guys have as well? Meetup.
What is website?
So,
what the website is that?
So what Meetup is basically you go to this website and whatever your interest is, say you've got an interest in speaking French, you're learning French.
Oh, okay.
You can go onto this website and look up French groups, find a French group, and then you go and meet with that French group and you'll talk French for an hour over lunch and then you go home. So this website is about bringing people together with similar interests. It's called meetup.com.
Okay.
And what we found is that there were groups on there dedicated to like going out to shows. It was like live entertainment groups. I mean, even there was even one run by a friend of ours, which we found out, which was about going to magic shows, finding magic shows and going to magic shows. As soon as we found that, that's fantastic. So we reached out to that meetup group. There's like 10 plus people in that group. And we said, hey, if you guys ever want to come to Top Hat Tuesdays in your meetup group, 50% off. Like we just gave them a special deal, made them feel special. So you guys come really, really cheaply to see the show and we'll reserve you some good seats. So again, I don't know if you've got something like that in Indonesia, but finding social groups, it doesn't have to be meetup.com. If there are social groups out there, and again, it doesn't even have to be a magic group. You could find like, I don't know, like church groups or whatever, theater groups, like try to find where those social groups are. There's got to be websites where they meet up, right? So you've just got to find them and then reach out to them and say, hey guys, if you want to come to our show, we'll give you a discount, a group discount. So I think finding groups and offering group discounts is another way to drive customers to your show. But yeah, back to the question, I think the simple answer is a lot of that repeat customer business is organic. If you're putting on a good show and it's a good price and people enjoy it, naturally they'll come back. It's like Andre, you and I, we were going on Magic Monday every month.
Yeah, every
without
month.
fail.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Right? Because we loved it. And
we loved it.
People just do that. If people love it, they'll come back. Yeah.
Yes. And
But
every
again,
show is very unique and entertaining.
How about the performer? Is it, I mean, is it affecting because sometimes in Indonesia, maybe we don't have that much of performer. So when it comes to the guests, when they came and then saw, I saw this performance last month.
Yes, that is unavoidable. We found we tried to encourage performers always change your act.
Oh, okay.
So we would say to performers, particularly we were running for 7 years, remember? If you did a survey of all of our customers and said, did you see the same act twice? All of them would say yes. At some point in those 7 years, they saw the same thing twice. As much as possible, though, we tried to separate them as much as possible. So, it might be 6 months before you see the same act again. And even then, it might only be 10% of the audience who say, oh, I actually saw that, but it was 6 months ago. But as much as possible, we encouraged performers not to do the same thing twice. And there was a little rule that's applied, and I know Slight Night applies this same rule.
Okay.
Where the host of that is Nicholas J. Johnson, and he says to us, dear magicians, if you have performed something in the last 12 months of this show, you're not doing it again for another 12 months. So if I go and perform at Slight Night and I do a Triumph routine, I'm not going to go back to Slight Night and do a Triumph for at least 12 months. If I want to go back to Slight Night, I have to do new material. Magicians in general are a creative bunch, so I don't think that's an unfair requirement to say to a magician, hey, if you're coming back to our show and you were performing here 3 months ago, you have to do a different act. If you don't have a different act, sorry, we need to keep fresh.
We need to keep fresh. Yes. That's interesting.
So, it means that all the performer was auditioned by you. Or
no, it's a really, really good question.
I mean, like, is it management or the management or I don't know.
In terms of, do we know what a performer is going to be like before they perform?
So we're talking this like just assuming that it never happened. I mean, you're getting started just like me. I'm starting maybe like somewhere. It's supposed to be like this year, but I think it's gonna be like next year.
Yeah.
So first they came, and then I auditioned. I do the audition.
Yeah. So the quick answer is we didn't audition people. The magic scene in Melbourne is a pretty close-knit community. And in general, we would know the performers. So we would generally have a good sense for them. Occasionally, we would get a magician who's up and coming. They might be a hobbyist, or they haven't been active on the Melbourne scene, so we haven't seen them before. Generally, what we would do is just ask them for some footage. So can you maybe just send us a video of you performing? But even failing that, we would generally give them a go. Sometimes we would have, a couple of amateur magicians every few months, and that's fine. Sometimes that does go wrong. We had our fair share of situations where the magic act was terrible. It was like we were standing in the back going, just one of those old-fashioned hooks, to like pull them off the stage. But all we could do in those situations is learn from the mistake and politely and very quietly put them on a blacklist, which didn't exist. Now, between you and me, we did have a blacklist where.
But no, not this between you and me. It's live. Live conversation. Now probably like 17 or 20 people is watching this, so it's not between us.
It's okay. It's okay because I'm not going to name names. All right. But we did have a blacklist because it's unavoidable. Every now and then you're going to have a performer it's not necessarily that the magic is bad. It just might be that they are inappropriate. Or it was just completely not the kind of thing we wanted. It was inconsistent with our show. And that's fine. Occasionally that's going to happen. The way to get around that is, sure, you could audition them. Yeah. But we didn't have the time. I mean, we were all busy people to try and organize a time to meet up with someone and audition them. Yeah. Generally, we just settle for, hey, send us some video footage. Or we would try to get generally we would get references as well. So most magicians would know other magicians. So if somebody we've not seen before, they might know another magician, and that magician might say, oh, no, he's pretty green, but he's really good. Don't worry, I reckon I vouch for him. So if we could have people vouching for them as well, that would help.
Okay.
It's a risk you have to take sometimes.
Yeah, it's gonna be reference. So the magician with the reference should be more likely have better performance than not, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was super rare that we would get bad acts. It was maybe once a year, if that, we would have a really rotten act. And you just it happens. It happens.
Yeah. So now this is I think I'm going to make like some of this all the thing that you are your experience. I'm going to like some of it. Apa sih menyimpulkan tuh apa Sandra? Summary, yeah. So it's like I think we, or who's the one who's going to make this kind of shows or producing it, probably has to be like not really a performer, but because they have to know, like you have to know how to manage it.
Exactly, it's a different skill set. Absolutely.
It's
a magician,
because
you're right.
It needs a person who's willing to do fully quote unquote job to do this, because you have to think like this is all your notes. It's like planning and booking, and then the show, you have to think like all of this to happen, and then the goal, the success, your audience, like it's like gonna be like long discussion before the show it happened, right?
Oh, so much. The hard part is making the show look like it just happened. But it's just,
it's like
because there's so much work. There's so much work. It's a phenomenal amount of work, but if you do it, it pays off. Yeah.
Because from your story, I mean, I can assuming that mostly you did all the marketing, not marketing. I mean the structure, everything. I think you did all of this. So maybe it's the reason why it's running for 8 years.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So this gonna be like quite a little bit hard question, because when we're talking about Melbourne, probably the people there already love or already prepared, not prepared, settle with.
It's common
yeah.
to see. It's common to see magic show.
No. It's common to see a live performance.
Yes.
Not just
yes.
not just magic. Because in here, first, the common live performance is only like a solo singer,
Singing,
and then all probably like a band. The people here, they're willing to pay like minimum probably like 500,000, probably $50 somewhere, something. 50.
Yeah, 50. Berapa?
500,000.
$50. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like $50 until
100.
100. So they're willing to pay that for like a singer, also probably like a band. But when it comes to a magic show, like I did that in Indonesia in 2017, I tried to take the ticket like a little bit downgraded and put the amount is like 350,000 to like $35. And then only 70% people came and buy the ticket. So I think here the audience is not ready yet for magic shows. So is there any suggestion what we or me personally should do for this? Because when we talk about singer or band, from our probably like 10 grade, when we were 10 grade, we already educated. So we have like every monthly probably, or every three months in a year, we create like a music festival in our school. And then from other school, they came and buy tickets to see like the good band or like good performance, like but mostly music. So we already been educated for that kind of thing about music, but it's never been done before, ever. From the first, probably as far as I know, never been done before. You came to a magic show and buy tickets. In here, if you want to see my show, you have to go like, maybe you have to wait for another corporate show that's going to hire me.
Yeah,
so
or
this kind of show, it's never been happened, only once a year in 2017. And then after that, I was like, not giving up, but I was like, I think it's gonna be like so hard to educate. And then I just ran away to Manila and do the show twice a year, and it's very successful and it's always sold out. But then again, I just like, it's so sad knowing that why I have to go abroad to do the show. Why can I do Indonesia? And then this year my plan is, okay, I have to do this in Indonesia. Maybe for me it's too fast to giving them the big show. Maybe I have to start it for like just small
shows
with the 50 audience probably. But then again, I need someone to talk about this, someone who already experienced about this. That's why when Andre told me, I'm going to invite Bayden, and he's very now he already worked for a theater show, like small theater show, for 8 years. I was like, okay, I want to talk with this guy because I need an input. So in this case, in Indonesia, do you have any suggestion or any input for me?
Or probably marketing strategy to create awareness to magic shows.
This is just like for example, I'm taking you from Melbourne and I take you to Indonesia, and it's like, okay, Bayden,
let's do it here.
Do your magic. So,
what
what thing that you want to do first when you are in Indonesia? And then,
Yeah.
for example, you never know the audience, and you never know the
The culture.
my audience, culture, and everything. And then, what is your first thing you want to do? Just like the thing that came up in your mind, like at this time.
Yeah, it's such a hard question, and I'd be lying if I said I think I could do it easily in Indonesia, because I don't think I could. We are very lucky in Melbourne that we do have a very vibrant arts culture here. The theatre culture and the live performance culture, it's so strong here. So I'd be lying if I said I didn't piggyback off the fact that we've got that culture to begin with. So in a way, I didn't have to deal with that problem. I knew that if you put the show on and we did all of those steps I outlined, I knew that we could get people to come along, because people in Melbourne like live entertainment. And to your point, Damien, they've already had that precedent set, because they enjoy live entertainment. It doesn't just have to be music. We've got a great comedy scene here, like a comedy circuit, stand-up comedian. We've got a great independent theatre scene if you want to go watch plays or performances. So we've really already got that culture there. So to answer your question, it's a really, really hard one. I mean, if you don't have that culture, how do you foster it? And I think the only way you can really do that is by starting to show people what magic is and how it can make them feel. And maybe the way to do that is through collaboration. If people love coming out to see certain music or musicians, maybe there's collaboration to be had there. Maybe you can do a show which is, it's got live music and it's a band performing, and then in between the bands, the magician comes out and does an illusion or two, and then the band comes out again. And then suddenly you've got this production which is blending different forms of entertainment. And you'll get the music fans coming out, and then maybe some of them will go, hey, that stuff in between the music was also really cool. I'm down to see more of that. So collaboration is one way, and it doesn't even have to be a show. That might be really hard to set up a collaborative show. But it could just be actually going out to these music gigs and speaking with the musician and saying, hey, would you mind if I mingled with your crowd and did some close-up magic, right? And just start to almost market that way. And then if you had your card with your flyer or whatever, you go to these places where these crowds are congregating, do some magic for them in a more casual environment, and then leave them with a card that says, hey, if you enjoyed that, hey, come along to our show, and that card will get you 50% off. We did do that a lot here in Melbourne. I spoke about the cross collaboration before. We would go to other shows, not magic shows. We would go to theatre shows, comedy shows, and we would hand out flyers. And often we were doing a bit of close-up magic as we did that. We'd get a group of people together, do a trick for them, get a really big reaction, and then go, hey, come along and watch a live show. Here's 10% or 50% off or whatever. So I think the first thing I would do if I was in Indonesia, to answer your question, Damien, is I would find out where people are congregating. And I'd be going out there, and I'd just be trying to work the crowds and start to just get magic in people's faces more, I guess. It's a hard one. Because again, I also don't know how Indonesians would respond to the marketing tactics I explained before. You might be able to do targeted advertising for an Indonesian crowd, but if they've got no interest in coming to a magic show, that's maybe not going to work. They're just going to scroll past it on their news. So it's challenging. I wish I had an easy answer, but I think that cultural barrier is so hard, and I don't know why we're so lucky in Melbourne. I didn't create that culture. I just took advantage of it.
That's why there's a talk between me and my friends who's really want to do this in Indonesia. And then our
community,
like, I mean, me and my friends. Now, coming with the result, probably we should start to do this, although it's baby step. So, but we already put in our mind that me and my friends maybe will not gonna enjoy the result. Maybe for like our
generation,
like
the next generation.
great maybe they will already get the advantage, because nowadays it's hard for us to create the system and then make the habit instantly. No, it's hard for us. Maybe it's going to be like 5 years or 10 years or maybe longer enough, because it's hard. But then again, if it's not us who's going to start all of this, then who will?
Then who will?
Somebody has to take the jump.
Yeah.
And you've got to be prepared to fail. I think all magicians know that anyway, right?
We practice it in front of mirror, like just to get everything right, because we always came to the past, fail, and then success. So just try to replicate that kind of system into a business in this content.
Yeah, exactly. And I even said before, you know, when we first started out, the majority of our crowd was free. They were promotional tickets. Like we were just fighting to get bums on seats. We didn't care if we didn't make any money at the start. It was never about making money. It was, again, it's just, let's just get people in here and show them what this is. And if we're patient, if we show this to people month after month, eventually we will build a crowd for this. And remember, you're talking about small and medium shows here. That's what ours was. We only wanted to get 30, 40 people in there because then we knew we could make it work. So finding a venue where you only need that 30 or so people, that's going to make your life easier. It's not going to make it, too easy. Even 30 people can be hard. Like we found that out. When we started our show, 30 people is still hard. You've got to build that reputation up over time. And you've just got to find what works. Like I said, finding the social groups. Find out. There's got to be some kind of social groups in Indonesia that are doing an activity. Reach out to them. Go, hey guys, I know your social group doesn't normally go to magic shows, but hey, how about you all come along? We'll give you free tickets. See what you think. So I talk about going to places where people are already congregating, or finding those existing social groups, and bringing them along. Like find a book club that why not? Something. Find some group of people you can target. That's going to be that might be easier because those groups are already formed. And while those people might not want to take a punt on buying a ticket by themselves, if they know the whole group of their existing friends are coming along, they can share something together. So I find that bringing groups together is easier than trying to market to individuals, especially early on.
Okay.
But beyond that, it's such a hard question, and I don't know. I would not find it easy setting up a magic show in Indonesia based on everything I've heard. So I wish I had the golden key, but
But then again, it just like basically came. The method became like by doing trial error. It's like the thing that you already done. If I just like copy paste it and then do it in Indonesia, it's like it's not going to be 100% success because different culture, different people, different habits. So maybe from this, all of your points, I mean, this is very interesting because, but this will happen when we already have the target, like who's the audience, because then again, when this strategy, it will gonna be happening when the market is already there, and then we just like choose, okay, we want to specify like that kind of audience target, and then or like this one or that one. So, but creating the audience is going to be like more harder and more hard work.
But it will be. And I think that's why I think the very first point I made was, knowing who your audience is. And I think if you can define what your perfect audience member would be, who are they? What do they enjoy? A typical Indonesian person that I want in my audience, what does that person look like? What do they enjoy? I need to segment my customer, and And if I can understand that customer and I can visualize who they are and where they congregate and what they do for entertainment, I can slowly start to fashion a strategy around how I'm going to capture them, whether that's finding their existing social groups, going to places where they congregate and enjoy other entertainment, whatever it might be. But yeah, it's challenging, but it all starts with defining who they are. If you don't know who they are, if you can't sit there and say, my customer is this person, then you're searching in the dark. So you have to define them first. But maybe it's indefinable in Indonesia. Maybe you have to mold them yourself.
Yes, probably. Yeah. If we're going to mold it, it should be more easy, right? Because molding it is much more easier rather than like getting it. Molding it, we create the people.
Yeah.
So this it's gonna be like, I'm gonna ask you another one, but this is gonna be like a little bit more deep to the show itself. So if you want to share it with us, your first month making the show, would you mind to telling us, like, is it a break-even point, like the fee, and then you share it with it's like the five performer, and then for example, like you have 5 performers, and then your team is going to be like 6 divided by 6. So is it break-even point, or is it like
you're losing money?
Losing money.
Yeah, no, we did pay performers on our first ever show. Our first show in the end was actually pretty successful because we had this long lead up to it. Normally you only have 1 month between each show, but our first show we had 6 months, and we were like flying, we were selling it, we just made our flashy logo. So we actually had more people at our first show than we did at our second show.
Okay.
So is it 6 month preparation then?
Or as in we sat from the day we sat down and said we're going to create Top Hat Tuesday. That was probably 6 months before we put the first show on.
Okay.
Around 6 months.
So from our very first initial conversation to the show actually happening was probably 6 months. We weren't working that entire 6 months. That was just the amount of time that lapsed between starting. But I think because we had such a long lead up, we did manage to get a lot of people in there, doing all the tactics I said, gave away heaps of promotional tickets, targeted a lot of social groups. Just, come on, everyone, come along. So it wasn't too bad. A lot of it was free tickets, but we also sold enough. But again, the breaking even wasn't too difficult because the arrangement we had with our venue back then was that they would give us the venue for free for the first couple of nights to see how the bar performed, because we were bringing in all of these customers to their bar. So he said, if you sell enough drinks on the bar and you're happy, we can have the venue for free. And then if you don't sell enough drinks, we'll pay like a top-up fee. So I think a way to help you breaking even is getting the right arrangement with your venue. If the venue is going to charge you like $1,500 to do the show, that's not going to work for us. So I think having a flexible venue fee is really important to help breaking even. And then being very clear with the magicians that, hey guys, you might get $20, you might get $70, you might get nothing, right? You've got to, if magicians if you're transparent with the magicians to say, look, come along to do your act to help us grow this thing together. Don't come along for cash. If you need cash, go get a gig. Go get a corporate gig.
Just don't put in their mind that after they're performing, they are going to have cash to bring home. But just don't ever
think about it like that.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
We were never a money-making business. We were we existed purely for the benefit of the magic community. Myself and my wife and Dom, all of us that ran it, we didn't take a salary or a wage from the show. We put all the money that didn't go to the performers back into the show. We spent that money on marketing and buying better microphone. All the money went back into the show. And then that's just the principle we set up.
You basically do it voluntarily and you're just doing for the love of magic.
That's it. You've got to do it for the love of magic. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to build up a magic community. And if you do that right, and you build up that culture, then 5-10 years down the track, then you can maybe start making really good money from it. But to be honest, we just did it because we loved Magic Monday. Andre, right?
Yes.
And I wanted to create that spirit again. I didn't care about the money. I just said, I want somewhere where magicians and audiences can come together and we can experience magic.
We do.
I'm so excited that now we have so much of that in Melbourne.
Yeah, we try to do it just for magic community, just to give it back to them, and then hopefully they will feel the love and then feel the experience and feel the entertaining, right?
And it probably helps that I'm not a full-time magician. So, you know, I didn't need it for money. I think a lot of magicians, magic is their job. The idea of doing this extra magic show for free for no money, no thank you, right? Whereas I had the benefit of, no, I don't need the money. I'm just really passionate about magic, right? I'm going to do this. And I was happy to do that. But yeah, I think you've always got to have in the back of your mind that you're not doing it for money.
Yes.
But to come back to your question, Damien, we at least never lost money. So we did break even. We always made sure there was some money to go around. And we were never in the red as well. And I think a lot of that comes to finding the right venue. You've got to have a venue that's willing to collaborate with you, not charge you $1,000 a night, because that's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because Andre, I don't know, probably you ever heard this from me or not, but hopefully in 2022, my plan is to have like a cafe and also a small theater.
Oh,
amazing! Yeah,
that would be cool. That'd be cool.
Rather than spending money to rent a place or like collaborate with some place that cannot give us a free space.
Yes.
I just like make some.
Just make it your own.
Yeah, and then because I already have a friend also that he have a cafe.
Yeah.
And then he asked me, you want to collaborate to make something? And I was like, okay, let's make something like magic and a cafe also in the same time. But it's like a small theater with a like theater seat, but they have like a table so you can eat.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So it's like a two ways advantage for me also, and then for the cafe.
Yeah, that's definitely very, very nice.
Absolutely. That's what you've got to, if you can show a cafe that what you're doing is mutually beneficial. I mean, that's what Dante's did, Magic Mondays and Dante.
Yes.
That's what we did with our venue. We were saying, you know, we're bringing all of these customers to you. We're bringing you more business. And we're giving your venue some thematic flair as well. You're not just going to be a cafe now. You're going to be the cafe that puts on the magic show. So you've got a lot to offer them as well. So I think it's a marvelous idea. If you can do that, terrific.
It's very beneficial for both parties.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Bayden.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, this is very inspiring, and we don't want to hold up you much longer. You have something to do because
that's okay. I was late for another call, but that's okay. I said to them, I'm on a very important call with my international colleagues. So.
but please do send Andre your notes, so probably I can learn it from it.
Yeah, do send me your notes. I can so I can look it up.
Definitely, I'll scan them in. I wrote 3 pages of notes here. Yeah, I'll definitely send them over to you guys.
Yeah, and then I would like to catch up with you again, Bayden. We take too long to talk about it.
let's not wait another 12 years.
Yeah,
12 years.
Yeah,
we haven't been talking for 12 years.
No, I met Bayden last time in Boston 12 years ago.
Oh.
So after I went back to Indonesia from Melbourne, I met with Bayden again in Boston 12 years ago. I think I left Melbourne in around 2004, and then met Bayden again 2006, and then until now.
But
it's crazy.
But if one day I come to Melbourne, is it okay if I can be in the show just to perform?
Well, Top Hat Tuesday doesn't run anymore. So we ran for 7 years, but it's finished. But as I said, there's all other shows. There's Slate Night. There's one called Magicians at Work. And then we also have obviously a very vibrant magic festival every July as well. Although not this year, we don't. It's been officially cancelled.
Yeah, I think in every country, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But no, definitely reach out to me because there will be somewhere for you to perform for sure.
Yeah.
I can definitely hook you up. Don't worry. I hook you up.
Before, I mean, last year, is it last year? Oh yeah, last year, 2019, I was called by the Australia's Got Talent. And then I was performing also for the first audition, and I passed through. But when it comes to the semifinal, I cannot go through because the Australia's Got Talent cannot push through my working permit.
Working visa.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
working
escape
visa
illusions.
Because because the time is too short. When they announced me that okay, you go for the next audition, and then it only take like a week, and they don't have my permits, so they sadly say, okay, probably we're going to have you next year. Well, it's supposed to be this year, but it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah,
but hopefully, if one day like they contact me or reach out to me again for this matter, maybe I can contact you, and by the time I'm there, I can like do shows because I really want to have a place to test my material because my material like mostly are Indonesian, like in Bahasa. Yeah, the script and everything. I want to try my off-air shows, my acts in English because the jokes probably like 100% different, and then the line, like the punchline, it has to be like different. So I really want to place a place to test it.
Definitely, I think we can find you one. Yeah,
because here in Indonesia we don't have that kind of place. So maybe. If I had time to be in there, maybe I could like catch up with you and then have some place to do my act.
Yeah, I guess it depends on, I mean, the work I've seen you do, Damien, is very grandiose. It's huge. It's escape illusion.
Hey, Bayden, he is one of the good coin magician in Indonesia.
I'd love to see that then.
Before I do illusion, I also do close stuff. So
this one here, this is the one you got to do, Damien. Your coin magic would be on fire at this one.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about this later, some other time, because I'm really interested to have like probably like a meetup, and then also probably a place to do my act, like my small act, not the big one. So testing my material, my jokes and everything, because then again, if we're doing it, we want to have like some connection between the performer and the audience, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, definitely. I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck. I can't wait to see you on Australia's Got Talent. That's exciting.
Yeah, and hopefully Bayden, they get my permit this time.
Yeah, that's true. And Bayden, I also have an idea. You partnering with Dom, right? So I'm thinking maybe next time I'm gonna interview both of you talking about comedy magic. Is that okay?
Oh, we'd love that. We have a lot of fun with Dom and Dama.
Because why Andre brought this to this conversation, because here mostly magicians think that magic has to be mystery. Magic has to be dark.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then because well, I'm not judging everyone who already performed this on TV, but because the one that is on TV, they look not scary, but they look like mysterious. And they're presenting it like a cool guy, and I'm one of those people who's on TV and doing it, and I do like more dangerous stuff. And probably the generation right now, when they watch TV, they will think that, oh, maybe that kind of thing that is work for the people. So they becoming like that. And then we almost lost, not 100%, but some of them only do the comedy. And I want to share to the younger magician. Probably now we should make magic more fun. Not has to be like comedically, but fun when people enjoying it, because they don't hire you or they don't buy tickets to get scared. They don't buy tickets to get tense. Not all of them like to get that kind of tense or scared. So like mostly they want to like release their stress. They want to get entertained. They want to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. Particularly with we're talking about monthly magic shows. You have to think about the type of people coming to your show. And in Melbourne, we were doing it on a Tuesday night. These people have just had a long day at work. They've maybe been at the office. They're dealing with the stresses of life. Coming to your show is a form of escapism for them.
Yes.
So you want to make them relax and get out of their shell and have a laugh. And that doesn't mean you, like you say, Dim, it doesn't have to mean you have to come out and be a clown. And, that's not what it's about. But it is about, remembering that people have come from a place where they might be stressed out, they're busy, and they want a form of escapism. And however you do that for them, that's up to you and your personal style of magic. But the most important thing is, have fun. And if you have fun, they'll have fun, right?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
So,
for sure.
Is it okay for you to have that kind of conversation with dumb and dumber?
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, that'd be another conversation. Dom and I, we came up with a totally different style of magic, I think, and that was sketch comedy magic.
Okay.
What was sketch?
So like a sketch, like sketches, like Monty Python, and like comedy skits. So think of like Saturday Night Live. You watch Saturday Night Live? Like little sketches, like, oh, here's a guy who's come to the bank and something funny is going to happen to him.
Sketch. So it's like a part of the scene.
So we come up with little scenes that we integrate magic into the scenes. So there would be like a comedy sketch with magic. So that's what we did, because I find too with magic, people love stories, right? Magic is a form of storytelling. And for Dom and I, that's what we tried to put into our show, is we're going to tell a story and the magic is going to complement the story, not the other way around.
Okay.
So yeah. But
so
another time.
another time. I'm going to set it up. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's a promise.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Catching Dom will be the hard one because he's the busy one. But now's a good time because we're all at home. So.
Yes, that's it.
That's our plan.
That's our plan.
I think like for the next 3 months, like people around the world are doing nothing. Only work from home. Yeah?
So there can be no excuse. You can't say, "Oh, I'm busy. I've got a gig." It's like, no.
You're lying.
You're free now.
Exactly. All right, Andre, I'll leave you to set that up then.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Bayden, for your time.
Thank you for the share.
Thank you for the story. Thank you for the inspiration. And I'm gonna set it up with you later, with you and
Definitely.
Dom.
I'll look forward to it. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Okay.
Until next time.
Until next
Stay
time,
healthy,
Bayden.
okay?
Stay healthy, stay safe. Say hello to Shuli. Bye-bye.
Ya, udah mati.
Ya.
Ya, seru ya, Drew ya.
Seru.
Ini buat yang baru join, ini sebenarnya seru banget pembicaraannya. Ntar gue lagi digodain sama istri gue.
Ini yang tadi jadwalnya cuma 1 jam, ya kan? Ini jadi 2 jam. Yang jadwalnya cuma 1 jam dia.
Jadi kenapa tadi si Bayden itu harus cabut, karena dia memang harus work from home. Tapi kalau gue lihat memang dia orangnya benar-benar precise banget ya. Maksudnya dia detail banget kayak gue harus ngelakuin ini. Jadi benar-benar yang apa sih? Kalau dalam hidup tuh kayak dia benar-benar semuanya teratur. Teratur.
Nah dia sebenarnya sebenarnya sebelum interview juga tanya sama gue, lu mau bicarain apa? Jadi dia udah preparing notes itu materi untuk diceritain ke kita gitu loh. Jadi memang dia benar-benar thoughtful banget orangnya.
Gue pikir makanya tadi sebenarnya pada saat dia jelasin, terus dia jelasin semuanya in detail, dia tahu, he know what he's doing gitu, he
Iya.
know what he's doing. Jadi dia benar tahu. Terus tadi juga kayak mudah-mudahan sih Dokter Frenos nih, Dokter Newton masih lihat ya. Kalau misalnya masih lihat, coba tolong komen. Ini kayaknya bisa dijadikan sebuah baseline banget nih buat sebuah project kita. Karena benar sih, walaupun sebenarnya gue pernah bicara sama Andre. Kayaknya sebenarnya segala sesuatunya tuh bisa di combine, maksudnya bukan combine,
dikolaborasiin.
Bukan kolaborasi. Jadi sebenarnya metode yang sama dalam bisnis tinggal di copy paste di Magic. Ataupun sebaliknya gitu kan. Kayak gue berbicara waktu itu sama Andre masalah bisnis yang lagi gue jalanin sama Andre adalah garment gitu, kita di merchandise. Jadi ternyata banyak hal dari dunia sulap yang match banget sama dunia bisnis gitu kan.
Betul.
Dan ini ternyata kalau gue lihat mah ini ya sesimpel kita kayak manajemen ini. Manajemen. Kayak ya lo harus planning, terus habis itu rencanain. Jadi kayak gini, simpelnya gini. Oke, lo plan dulu. Habis lo harus planning nih, lo mau ngapain. Begitu sudah ada, lo di plan semua sudah ada nih, kayak lo mau ngapain, terus goals lo apa, sukses yang lo kejar apa, audiens lo siapa, strukturalnya seperti apa, lama show-nya, berapa jam, segala macam detail sampai menentukan harga tiketnya. Sudah jadi semua. Habis itu simpelnya, oke, ini mau dikemanain, mau dijual di mana? Gitu kan. Begitu sudah, tempatnya dapat. Habis itu kita gimana caranya sesimpel ya kan?
Sesimpel itu gitu loh.
Semudah itu, sama kayak kalau tadi kita bicara masalah garment. Kita punya hoodie nih, udah create design. Kita mau ngejar buat siapa nih? Mau jual ide lo, harganya kan, harga jualnya berapa? Begitu udah harga jual, terus oke, lu mau jualnya di mana? Online atau mau di toko gitu kan? Setelah itu udah dijual online toko, abis itu terakhirnya abis itu lu mau taruh itu di mana aja ya? Baiklah. Ya kan. Jadi
nanti kita akan dapat feedback, kita akan review lagi, itu doing rinse and repeat seperti itu terus.
Jadi kenapa tadi gue bilang sama Dr. Milton, semoga si Dr. Frenos semoga masih nonton dia.
Masih nonton.
Ini bagus nih dok. Jadi dia ngasih sebuah input yang gue taking note banget adalah menentukan harga show-nya. Buat dia harganya kalau bisa lebih tinggi 20% dari harga tiket nonton. Nah, kita bicara di sini XX1 ya.
Ya, XX1.
Berarti kalau bisa harganya lebih tinggi dikit dibandingkan harga nonton XX1.
Artinya sekitar 60.000 tuh. 60.000 tuh perkiraan.
Nah, itu adalah starting point yang menurut Bayden adalah berhasil. Menurut dia. Tapi kita harus coba untuk coba
community kita Indonesia kira-kira berapa gitu yang pasnya daya belinya betul.
Nah, terus tadi kan si Dr. Frenos juga bilang, terus kalau misalnya ada show yang performer yang sama lagi gimana? Kayaknya kalau misalnya kita mau bikin ini, kita nggak boleh yang tiap bulan dulu sih. Kalau misalnya mau benar-benar yang dimatengin, minimal kita bicara 6 bulan dulu rotasi. Jadi lu sudah punya line up untuk setahun, udah pasti 10 pesulap yang berbeda. Jadi emang nggak boleh asal-asalan juga, karena once lu asal-asalan, jadinya ya show-nya ya nggak akan jadi-jadi, nggak akan maju-maju.
Performan cuma ini bro, performan per show cuma 4, satunya host.
Nggak, bukan maksud gua kalau di Indonesia kita mau bikin gitu kan. Kita anggaplah ya, misalnya berlima itu sama host lah, sama host atau apapun itu. Nah, nanti intinya itu anggaplah 5, ya nggak boleh 5 ini nggak boleh ada lagi di next show. Karena kan kita bikinnya per 6 bulan. Nah, terus yang lebih gue suka adalah kita di sini harus bisa untuk marketing exchange, cross promote. Misalkan ya kita cari tempat-tempat misalkan stand up comedy atau apapun, ya kita main di sana untuk jadi bintang tamu. Habis itu kita promote, gue nanti bulan sekian tanggal sekian ada gue perform gue nih, datang ya. Dan kita bisa main tuh sebagai promosi for free, ya kan?
Nanti kita bisa juga undang, kita kan cross kan, kita jadi bintang tamunya, kita bisa undang mereka juga untuk jadi bintang tamu kita juga.
Ya, tapi itu kan karena kita butuh mereka, jadi akhirnya kayaknya mereka kan udah settle nih kalau kita bicara stand up comedy mungkin ya. Mereka udah settle kan. Ya, kita hanya bisa paling sebagai in return-nya kita promosikan acara mereka
di tempat kita.
Si di host-nya bisa misalkan gini, oke nih guys, selain kalian disulap juga nih, kalau misalnya kalian buat informasi aja nanti bulan depan ada, jadi ada satu yang kita promote acaranya mereka di acara kita.
Betul.
Dan kalau misalnya tadi juga si Bayden juga bilang kalau misalnya lo mau yang paling gampang dengan memulai di komunitas yang sekarang ini adalah kita kolaborasi sama performer lain tadi kan dibilang sama Bayden.
Betul.
Jadi
misalkan musik, ada
kita
musik.
ada lima, ya satu masukin musik.
Ya.
Tengahnya ceritanya buat breaknya atau di awal sama di tengah buat openingnya. Jadi kita benar-benar butuh, memang kita nggak bisa untuk independen dulu. Tapi itu kita harus bicara, maksudnya lihat dulu marketnya ya. Gitu. Dan gue yakin Dok, ini sih kalau kita dilakuin di Jakarta, ini berhasil. Gue yakin banget. Karena apa? Gue sudah memulai ini di yang show intimate gue 2 kali. Itu selalu yang datang 70% dan selalu orang awam. Yang beli tiket itu dari 100 misalkan 70% datang dan 70% itu adalah orang awam. Nah, 20%-nya itu ada pesulap, macam-macam lah. Pokoknya intinya terakhir yang pertama full book, yang kedua itu tidak full book bukan karena tiketnya full book tapi orangnya tidak, karena tiba-tiba kan yang beli ada company itu satu perusahaan. Nah, yang tiba-tiba perusahaannya itu nggak bisa datang tapi udah dibeli tiketnya. Jadi ada satu baris kosong, bukan mereka tidak datang, tapi mereka tidak bisa datang karena satu hal, kalau nggak salah tuh ada meeting dadakan apa di kantornya, jadi mereka nggak datang. Nah, maksud gue, nanti mungkin kapan kita akan bicara ini. Jadi teman gue namanya Sharel, dia anak basket, teman basketku juga, dia punya tempat, Dre.
Ya, oke.
Nah, punya tempat di lantai 2. Itu
ini bukan yang Jan kedai kopi?
Ya, betul.
Oke.
Nah, lantai 3-nya itu kosong, which is sebenarnya itu memang buat meeting dan buat acara-acara kecil. Dia ada small stage yang cuman mungkin 60 cm tingginya. Lighting-nya sudah proper, audionya proper.
Nah, itu bisa dipakai tuh.
Dia pun sudah ngajakin gua, makanya gua di situ untuk ngebuka dulu market. Nah, maksud gue ini bisa kita jadiin reguler setiap 2 bulan sekali. Gue mau deh perform juga jadi tamunya ceritanya. Atau nanti kita bikin misalkan di bulan ini adalah namanya special guest, tapi jangan kasih tahu dulu, cuman gue kasih tahu misalkan lo rambutnya gue gitu, orang udah tahu siapa, atau ada tangannya begini, posternya gitu, orang udah tahu, tapi kan tidak disebutin gitu. Untuk mengundang daya tarik aja. Itu gue mau. Terus kita harus bikin dan kita harus tunjuk performernya benar-benar yang istilahnya gini, jangan sampai orang pulang nonton sampah nih, kayak gitu maksudnya. Karena kita ini adalah debut kita pertama. Kalau mau kita bicarain, mumpung kita banyak waktu nih, kita bicarain aja nih. Kita kalau bisa start tahun depan. Karena terus terang tadinya gue mau bikin ini, ya misalnya kita bener ya, gue jujur nih, gue udah mau kita udah rencana ini tahun berapa, Dre?
Tahun lalu.
Bukan dong.
2 tahun lalu. 2 tahun lalu. Iya.
Gue sama Andre, proposalnya mana ya?
Mana ya itu? Iya, ada tuh.
Coba lu sambil nyari nih. 2 tahun lalu, gue sudah mau bikin ini namanya Magic is Real. Is it correct?
Yes, is correct. Correct. Ntar gue dapet.
Jadi namanya Magic is Real. Gue mau bikin ini Magic is Real 2 tahun lalu. Konsepnya adalah kita bikin dua layer, yang layer atas sama layer bawah, ya kan? Yang
betul.
Komunitas sama yang gua, Bow, Oge gitu kalau nggak salah. Kita mau bikin itu 2 layer. Jadi maksud jalan terus nih. Nah, sistemnya adalah gua, Bow sama Oge itu kita show, yang maksudnya kita yang udah punya nama lah, sama yang underground. Nanti kita akan ada cross. Maksudnya satu si Demian main ke sini jadi bintang tamu. Dan yang di sini yang di bawah yang underground main juga ke atas as a opener. Jadi kita akan cross supaya apa, penonton yang tadinya penontonnya Bo Oge Demian itu kenal bahwa oh ini ternyata ada Venus, oh ada Jiban loh yang lain. Begitu juga sebaliknya. Ini akan diramaikan, yang underground akan diramaikan sama salah satu dari orang-orang ini gitu. Nah, sistem yang gue mau pakai itu juga sistemnya tadinya kita saling bikin komunitas, anggaplah apa kek, kalau si Bo bilang apa seni sulap Indonesia kayak apapun. Jadi kita bikin, anggap misalkan ya kalau Mindo sebenarnya udah bagus, sudah jalan, tapi kita pengen bikin yang kayak gitu tuh, kayak Mindo tuh. Jadi ada cabang-cabangnya, Jakarta, Surabaya, misalkan kita sebut 3 kota dulu ya, Jakarta, Surabaya sama Jogja misalkan. Nah, 3 tempat ini punya tadi tuh timnya. Misalkan di Jakarta orangnya A, B, C. Ya gue bingung lah nyebut namanya. Pokoknya A, B, C. Sedangkan yang di Surabaya D, E, F. Sedangkan yang di Jogja G, H, I.
Ini bro, gue ketemu nih.
Woi, sudah ada. Ini bukti ya, saudara-saudara, bahwa gue tidak omong kosong. Ada loh.
Tuh.
Mana? Nggak ada tulisannya tahunnya? Nggak ada ya?
Ntar gue share.
Ntar. Minimize aja, minimize biar kelihatan kan.
Ini udah minimize bro.
Enggak, itu yang kuning, ditekan yang kuning kirinya.
Bukan. Oh yang kuning.
Nah,
Oh ini. Oh ya, main masuk malah. Enggak, kecilin.
Itu gedein, Pak.
Ya udah gedein. Ntar, kuning nih masuk ke bawah, bro.
Iya, nggak apa-apa. Dimasukin bawah dulu aja, ntar lu klik lagi. Kan lu bisa lihat.
Oh, bentar. Ini
lo view-nya dari itu ya?
View-nya dari Zoom. Di date ke gua Maret 20 Maret 2018.
Tuh. Maret 2018. Nah, ini adalah ininya nih.
Presentasi kita.
Presentasinya.
Ya, presentasi.
Jadi tuh targetnya adalah itu tadi tuh targetnya dulu.
Targetnya.
Purwokerto, Malang, Solo, Madiun, Semarang. Terus
pre-event aktif, bla bla bla.
Udah ada semua, maksudnya semua strateginya udah ada nih dok. Kalau misalnya dokter Frenos mau jalanin mah oke banget.
Iya.
Terus yang 5-nya tuh apa?
Tuh 5-nya ini, terus nih ini ada nama kliennya nih kita.
Nggak apa-apa. Yang 3 dulu deh. 3.
Oh yang 3 dulu. Oh ini.
3.
Nih. Oh slide 3, sorry.
Nah, benar 2, sorry.
Oh benar 2.
Nah, nih. Objektifnya itu educate magic to audience and magician. Give the unique look of magic.
Sharing experience.
Nih, semoga dokter nonton ya, Dok. Ini bisa nanti gua kasih ke lu deh. Ini gua share ke kalian juga, maksudnya biar belajar juga dan bahwa gua nggak omong kosong gitu. Kita udah planning gitu. Cuman ya banyak hal lah. Terus tadi bener kan yang diomongin sama si siapa? Bayden bahwa tentuin targetnya dulu. Kita bahkan udah.
Iya, betul.
Target kliennya tuh udah tahu tempat target city-nya. Coba next yang 3 Andre.
Next. Nih.
Tuh target city-nya sudah kita udah punya gitu. Kota-kotanya. Kenapa dipilih kota-kota ini? Karena menurut gua selama dari survei gua show kita sudah bisa kepegang bahwa kayaknya ini nih yang bakal mereka mau beli tiketnya atau datang gitu.
Betul.
Terus yang slide 4.
Ini pre-event activity. Kita namanya? Kita
ini masih karena klien ya. Ini
karena
ada
klien.
Yang penting happy.
Iya.
Nah, terus jadi ada pre-eventnya. Tujuan gue pada saat itu ini mengundang ini akan jadi semua komunitas ya, Andre ya.
Iya, semua komunitas.
Untuk komunitas yang underground, bukan semua pesulap di Indonesia. Ini kita bahkan narik komunitas untuk pesulap komunitas. Kita tarik yang di daerah tersebut untuk main street magic di pre-eventnya, ya kan?
Iya betul.
Jadi mereka melakukan street magic sambil promo event apa yang nanti akan terjadi gitu.
Iya betul.
Terus ada yang nanti buat sedikit biar viral, ini sih strategi biar viralnya. Jadi kita pas pada saat main street magic yang salah satu beberapa di antara street magicnya itu pakai topeng gitu. At the end pas dibuka ternyata Demian, makanya di sini ada undercover magician Demian. Gitu, play magic trick with buyer, never realize that has been prank. Jadi kita buat ini supaya jadi materi sosial media dan dipublish kalau nggak salah di YouTube waktu itu rencananya.
Iya, rencananya gitu.
Tuh. Nah, cuman karena ini kita waktu itu masih gue berusaha untuk dapetin klien brand, jadi makanya educate audience with brand and integrate engagement to community. Nah, terus yang slide 5 apa, Andre? Gue lupa ini.
Itu pre-event digital. Ini untuk digital activation-nya.
Tuh kita makanya kayak tadi yang ngomongin Bayden sebenarnya sih kita udah.
Iya, kita udah
tahu sih.
Mulai ya.
Terus yang 6?
Yang 6 ininya, activity-nya harinya. Gitu.
Jadi kalau dulu nih kita bikin kayak ada versusnya sih.
Versusnya.
Ini yang versusnya.
Ya,
kalau nggak salah ada satu lagi yang Magic Union punya, Andre. Ada dulu
Magic Union punya. Magic Union punya kayaknya nggak dari gua deh. Kayaknya nggak ada gua yang
kita ada itunya. Yang kan ada 2 tuh yang gue bilang. Kalau nggak salah yang show-nya namanya Magic Israel. Ini kan udah di customize sama produknya kalau nggak salah.
Wait ya, gue tanya, gue lihat dulu ya.
Email gitu.
Magic.
Ya. Magic first.
Union.
Ya gitu ya, ingetin gue ya Dok, itu gue udah punya sebenarnya, tinggal jalanin. Gue tadi pas lagi si Bayden ngomong, gue langsung ke remind, kayaknya gue udah pernah
kita kayak pernah lihat kayaknya.
Nah ini tinggal dijadiin aja, tinggal
Iya.
dijadiin doang. Sebenarnya sudah ada blueprintnya, bisa dibilang blueprintnya udah ada, tinggal jalanin.
Nggak ada bro, Magic Union nggak ada di gua.
Coba Magic Israel.
Nggak ada juga. Magic Israel nggak ada juga.
Ada di mana presentasinya waktu itu ya? Dulu.
Kayak di lu kayaknya. Kan
Di
di
Econ.
IO kita. Adanya
Ya,
kan sudah di
dulu
customize.
kita punya IO sendiri.
Iya, kita punya IO sendiri.
Ya, pokoknya gue intinya sih pada saat itu, kenapa gue kenal hari ini, bukan hari ini, kenapa saat ini gue merasa kita harus melakukan ini bersama-sama, karena jujur aja gue pernah mencoba melakukan ini sendiri dan kerja keras.
Keras ya.
Ya itu, ya kalau gue melakukan sendiri sebenarnya gue pikir udahlah, kalau gue nggak mau minta tolong dulu, karena gue akan coba usahakan sendiri. Kalau bisa, ya udah kita rasakan bersama-sama gitu. Cuman ternyata berat. Ya kalian tahu, gue udah pernah show Superhuman sendiri, susah. Maksudnya ya maksudnya gini, intinya sudah selama ini gue sudah akhirnya mencoba untuk I don't give a shit. Pokoknya gue lakuin dulu sendiri. Tapi bukan berarti nggak peduli sama komunitasnya ya. Gue lakukan sendiri supaya nanti sulapnya bisa maju di Indonesia. Itu tujuan gue pada situ. Gue mau lakuin dulu deh. Karena kalau pernah gue ngajakin ini ternyata nggak sevisi. Gue ngobrol ke sini ternyata money oriented. Aduh, udah deh capek. Nah akhirnya udah lakuin dulu sendiri deh. Nah sayangnya gue waktu itu emang gue dan Trilogi lagi tidak, ya as a personally dekat, tapi komunikasinya tidak seintens sekarang. Terus gue juga belum kenal sama Frenos, dan gue juga tidak tahu dengan komunitas Mindo, karena memang gue terlalu lama menutup diri sendiri pada saat itu. Ya karena ngerasa, udahlah, pesulap nggak ada yang support gue gitu. Celang, ini apa namanya, curhat-curhat celang. Ya karena gue ngerasa pada saat itu terus terang, gue ngerasa ya udah komunitas nggak ada yang support gue, ya udah gue jalan sendiri aja. Tapi gue tidak mikir negatif, tapi gue mikirnya oke, gue mau lakuin ini buat Indonesia, pokoknya gue pengen buat Indonesia. Atas nama Seni Sulap Indonesia. Ya ternyata kerja keras dan akhirnya ya kelepas gitu aja. Nah sekarang ayo kita lakuin bareng-bareng deh, bareng-bareng. Karena gue yakin ini harus bisa. Apalagi ketemu sama Dr. Frenos nih yang sudah ya maksudnya dia punya perjalanan meng-create show dari yang nggak ada orang sama sekali, sempat dia sukses juga sama Boris. Harusnya dia bisa nih, pengalaman dia sama plan gue bisa masuk harus.
Ya kita berharapnya seperti itu juga.
Ya, harus pokoknya 2021
ya.
Itu harus jadi tahun kita. Jadi kenapa kita
2021 betul.
2021, kenapa tahun 2020 ini kita dikasih corona, supaya kita dikasih waktu buat belajar dan mematangkan ini semua. Sering-sering lah belajar, lihat video-video kayak gini di gua, di Andre, di Trilogi, Dr. Frenos. Harus sering-sering belajar ya. Dan juga di komunitas lain juga banyak, tapi gua kan nggak bisa, ya maksudnya gua nggak tahu yang lagi bikin live ini siapa ya. Tapi
nanti di sini ada siaran ulangnya, bisa dilihat juga yang tadi kelewatan show, yang kelewatan sessionnya kelewatan, ada siaran ulangnya. Bisa dilihat
dan aja. Juga nih buat pesulap yang nonton, nanti gue sama Dr. Frenos sama Trilogi kita mau bikin live juga. Gue belum tahu nanti ditentuin di channel siapa, tapi kita akan undang pesulap Indonesia untuk bertukar pikiran. Jadi pesulap akan kita minta kasih sebuah ide gagasan.
Ya, kita kasih input
lewat chat. Lewat chat, nanti kita akan pilih. Dia kirim email, kita kasih alamat emailnya buat nge-zoom bareng. Jadi kita
akan undang live discussion.
Gitu.
Ya.
Okay. Thank you, Andre.
Jadwal lu berikutnya? Yang paling dekat?
Oh iya. Besok sama Andre.
Besok sama Andre Siniska jam 7 malam. Jam 7 malam. Oke, nanti yang teman-teman lain yang punya acara bisa di-tag ke gua juga. Kita akan sama-sama bantu untuk promosiin. Saling promote lah sama-sama ya. Oke, terima kasih. Magic First. Oh, Magic First, betul. Ya, ini kata Abang Bo Vernon.
Ya, itu Bang Ferrol bilang Magic First pokoknya. Kita nomor 1 sulap dulu aja.
Ya, siap. Oke, guys, terima kasih Bapak Demian, terima kasih atas waktunya, terima kasih sudah menemani saya setia dari awal sampai akhir. Nanti boleh lain kali lagi ya Pak ya.
Siap.
Oke, nanti kita ketemu di New York sama di Washington. Untuk teman-teman yang lain, terima kasih waktunya. Terima kasih semuanya. Semoga kita bisa memajukan seni sulap Indonesia. Thank you. See you.